Days that change your life forever are not really expected, are they? You don't wake up that morning thinking, today everything changes. It just seems like any other time. The morning of my fateful day, everything seemed so normal. I had no clue that I would finally get what I had always been waiting for. My mind slowly sank out of the dream world that early morning, and as I gained consciousness, I felt the gentle breathing of my wolf mother. As usual, I was pressed up against her side to sleep. Nestled there, I felt so protected and completely cozy. Her fur was so warm and so soft. I snuggled close to her, nuzzling my face into her fur. "Good morning, Mama," I murmured. Already, as usual, the drowsiness was quickly evaporating from my mind, replaced by the thrill of waking up in a new day. "Good morning, little fairy," my mother replied. She didn't really speak with her mouth. Instead, her voice bloomed directly into my mind. Her voice was very rich, velvety, and smooth. It always was a calming thing, soothing out my excitable mood. My mother usually woke up before dawn, but she stayed there in our cave home beside me, for my sake. I never had to wake up alone, which admittedly I took for granted. I always spent my days playing in the forest, so it was the nights and early mornings that my mother and I shared. I would sprawl upon her and jabber about my adventures when I settled in for the evening, what the babbling brook had told me, the activities of the local squirrels, what yummy treat my fox friend and I had managed to hunt down that day, and so much more. The forest was always full of endless possibilities, and there was magic everywhere. My mother was a great wolf. She wasn't a normal wolf, I noticed. There was something different about her, but I didn't quite understand why she was so different. There was her appearance, of course, that was obvious. She was a giant of a wolf, 5 times larger than the regular wolves that lived in the forest. She was even bigger than the werewolves, who were larger than average themselves. Her fur seemed to be made of nighttime, deep blues and shimmering shades of black, speckled through with glittering silver, just like starlight. There was something different about her very nature, too. That was harder to place. The way she spoke to me wasn't like how I understood what the other animals of the forest were saying. That came from my own power of being able to talk to animals, just part of my fairy nature. However, when my mother spoke, I could tell it came from herself. It was with her own power, her own brand of magic. Still, I never questioned it. She had always been with me. This was just my mother to me. It was how she was. I didn't know to expect anything different. I didn't even realize that being a fairy raised by a wolf was something unusual either. One day when I was little, though, my fox friend Tycho asked me about it. "Why is your mother a wolf?" he had asked bluntly as we lounged at the edge of a stream. We were half-heartedly fishing, but mostly being lazy in the summer sunshine. "She found me in a cabbage when I was a baby," I had replied easily, so chipper. Tycho's skepticism was palpable, but I cheerfully ignored it. This was what my mother had said, so it had to be true. Tycho pressed on, asking about why I didn't live with the other fairies in Vale, farther up the Dragon-Tooth Mountains. I dismissed his ponderings nonchalantly. It didn't matter to me. I didn't care about my origins or my unusual family life. It never occurred to me to care about that. Now, I gave my mother a hug before scrabbling to my feet, blinking the remaining sleep from my eyes. I ran to the mouth of the cave and gazed out at the forest that had always been my home. The landscape was painted with grays and blues, the eastern sky just barely beginning to blush pastel pinks and soft purples. The leaves in the trees whispered in the gentle breeze, and the little birds sang joyously about the sun beginning to rise. Another beautiful morning, just like any other. I had no idea this would be the very last time I would awaken in this spot, the last time I would awaken at my wolf mother's side. This was the day that everything would change forever. But I had no idea, not a clue. "What shall you do today, Saccharine?" my mother asked me. She asked me this every morning, her voice amused and fond, and just like always I replied, "Whatever I want to do." I thought it would always be that simple.